All right, can I have a motion, please?
I move that we reconvene into open session.
I'll say.
Roll call vote, Andrew?
Aye.
Susan? Aye. Susan?
Aye.
Aye. And Green, aye. Ayes have it, motion is carried. All right, order of business and public appearances. We have a public appearance from Luke Louisiana.
Sorry about the handwriting.
Okay. So, where do you use Luke? Okay.
But someone else would talk first so I can get my nerves a little bit. Thank you for having me. My name is Luke Lewison. I am the president and also a coach for the Monona Grove McFarland Youth Wrestling Club, MGM. I wanted to come for a couple of reasons. The first is just to either acquaint ourselves or reacquaint ourselves with you guys. We are a co-op with the neighbors down the south with McFarland. And I think it's officially a Monona Grove program, despite it being 50-50. I think it's to avoid the split. You guys are in charge. And we have been growing. In 2018, we had 35 kids in our youth club from K to 8. In 18-19, we were up to 62. In 19-20, we had 119. In 2021, that was the COVID year, we went back down to 39. And this last year, we had 135. This year, we haven't even advertised in either school district yet, and I've had 15 new kids I've never heard of already enrolled. We're going to be well over 150. Last year, we were the second biggest community club in the state. And I feel like that's the sort of thing I could go to the next sentence, but maybe I should just spend a second. More than any other wrestling club affiliated with one wrestling team, we are the second biggest one in the entire state. And it's not just hollow numbers. Our high school team continues to have success. We've had 3 different state qualifiers in 3 different years as we grow. Our head football coach, Carl Volk, is right there. He maybe will shed a little bit more light on that. Our youth club, which is where the bulk of our volume is, had 10 state qualifiers last year, 2 place winners, had a state champion, and it's only beginning. Youth team state, which is the best correlated thing to like high school wrestling, because these kids are going to feed directly up. We finished 4th last year in 3rd through 5th grade, which is the young group, with a single 5th grader in the lineup. This year, our class of 32 is amazing. We are among the favorites, if not the favorite, to win youth state. It's all just to say things are going well. But the other side of the coin is not so rosy because we have faced a lot of challenges to get there. We wrestle on a basketball court, which isn't unheard of, but it's certainly not great, rolling out the mats and rolling out. We've requested in the past to put up pull-up bars at our own expense. Pull-ups are the most elemental exercise to wrestling. We've been denied, let alone like ropes to climb or padded walls to protect our guys. None of that is considerable. And that wouldn't even be that bad if it was our space and that's all we could do with it. But we're just tenants in space that other people use. Our high school team was preempted for like a youth affair or something just a couple years ago. We weren't able to practice because that was there. Our youth club this year had 6 Wednesdays in the middle of the season. We couldn't get our own gym because the Special Olympics clipped it in first. But I was fortunate. Gary Johnson has been amazing, and he worked with me to kind of get it squared away. Our locker room, and I can put that in quotes, is just a utility closet. We haven't had enough space to
Luke,
put
I'm
in
just
locker-
going to interrupt you, just, the minute's up, so if you can just kind of.
We'll fly to the end now.
Okay.
I mentioned 3rd to 5th grade. That's where the animal is going through the snake, right? It's a crude analogy, but that's where I started when my 5th grader was in kindergarten. That's where our numbers are huge, and the only way the analogy fails is that the animal ends. We don't. Forgetting the facilities, we could have a 3rd to 5th grade team win state and not have a 6th grade middle school program, which is, it's like a notch. And I think the ship has sailed on this year. But what I would ask is that next year, it not be a question. It not be a question, because it's just, we put too much work in, those kids deserve it. And instead of having a middle school program, tonight, ironically, I'm going to pay $25 to the Peach Jar to let that middle school even know we exist. There's a lot of things I'd like, but just I wanted to say hi to you guys and start with that middle school program, which is so important. Transportation, scheduling, have it be official so it's not just this thing that exists in your schools. It would be so helpful. But I know I don't have much time, so I will call it there. Thank you very much.
Well, I have a question.
Sure.
How many other sixth grade middle school programs are there in Dane County?
I don't have the exact number, but I can tell you Sun Prairie, DeForest, Stoughton, Verona, Wanakee, all. I mean, all of them. We would have duels upon duels.
Most of the Badger Conference.
Yes.
Most of the Badger Conference?
Oh, yeah. I think there's well over 150 in the state. Tricky part with middle school programs is that some of them do it before basketball season and some of them do it after. Dane County's mostly before, but for all intents and purposes, yeah, there's well over 100 in the state.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to add too, in terms of the rules, there are times that you have more than the 3 minutes that you need to speak, and another person can actually sign up to speak and give you their 3 minutes. Do we still do that, or do we not do that anymore? We discourage that, but again,
The gentleman
yours is
behind me,
more
I'm
like a
welcome to speak as well.
presentation than just,
I mean, I'd like to talk a little bit about wrestling. It's like the most accessible sport in the world. You'd think soccer would be, but I have a 6-year-old nephew that just paid $200 for 8 weeks with no officials and no coaches, just volunteer parents. We charged $60 for 4 months. And it was $40 until we raised it so you could get a customized t-shirt with your name on the back. All you need is wrestling shoes, and if you don't have them, we'll loan them to you. And we're happy to waive the $60. We will not let money be anything that gets in the way of you in the mat. And they just sanction girls wrestling, right? We have girls throughout the program, and it's the fastest growing high school sport in the state. I think we need a middle school program. I think I'll be with that.
Susan?
well, I was just going to suggest that you might follow up with our superintendent and our athletic director for like a broader conversation. I mean, even the question about the Special Olympics bumping you, I mean, if it's school sport, I don't know how all that, I mean, it just seems like it's worth a conversation about scheduling and what your ultimate goals are. And that would be a good way to follow up, I
We
think.
met with Nate Verhage, is that how I pronounce it? Maybe a month or so ago. He is the Dean of Students, but also the middle school AD.
Right.
And he was on board, but he didn't realize, because he'd only recently taken that post, maybe right during COVID. He didn't know that either you guys or the superintendent, I don't know for sure, because it was the president before me, had turned down the middle school program just a couple of years ago. In fact, I feel like we've been told we're 2 years away from a middle school program for like half a decade. And
I was just gonna ask, Dan, would you be open to?
Sure, I'd be glad to have a
conversation?
conversation. I will say there's never been a proposal brought to me for
Okay,
this.
so
Yeah.
Dave didn't know who
Sorry,
turned
that
down,
came
but
back.
it was, he said it was turned down, and it was either the super or the school. So I can circle back to where that got, or where it got tabled, or whatever.
Well, I would say
Now
just
we've got two
proceed
guys.
start fresh. Here,
Go
start
start
fresh.
fresh, I'm in.
That's what I think, yeah.
Anyway, and Nate actually did us the favor of providing transportation for kids from Glacial Drumlin over to Nichols, because we just had a makeshift middle school program where the middle schoolers rest with the high schoolers. And frankly, that's close to what we need. The transportation and a little bit of scheduling, and the school letting the kids know it's part of what they do is really all we need. It's very simple. But I realize I've already.
No, hold on, I gotta move.
Oh, sorry.
You mentioned girls, is it, and before girls were eligible to go out for wrestling, but they would have to wrestle other boys.
Mhm.
And now you're saying there's a girls sanctioned wrestling where other girls are wrestling girls now?
Girls get to choose. They can wrestle
They can
against
choose,
guys,
okay.
or they can wrestle other girls, but there is girls' high school state wrestling. This is the second year it's existed, and the first year it'll exist at the Cole Center with the boys.
Okay, I have one more follow-up question.
Keep going, I'm not talking about this.
I don't know if you know this, but I was a wrestler too, so.
Oh.
But I'm curious, how is the diversity of the students that go out for wrestling? Is it a pretty diverse group of students, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, yes. It's certainly not, I don't know how to describe it. Yes, fourth place day was D'Angelo Clay. D'Angelo's little brother, Amir. I mean, they're black, right? We have, I mean, yes, it's.
You see a wide, range of, okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, any other board questions?
No, that's it, thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Lou.
Yeah.
All right, next is John from the wrestling program.
All right, I'll keep mine short here. but I'm here for questions as well. First of all, thanks for your time, appreciate it. I appreciate all your efforts you guys have done for Monona. I live in Monona, so I know you guys are always dealing with challenges, conflicting viewpoints, in going through that, so I understand that. And what I wanted to do was I thought, well, I live in Monona, and I wanted to share kind of my individual experience as a Monona resident and kind of our family experience with MGM. So obviously, right, I'm here because I have a son that's in MGM wrestling, soon to be a 4K as well. And my son has really taken on to wrestling. I was in wrestling as well. And in fact, as Luke mentioned, one of the state champions, my son was a state champion last year. And speaking further of where he's going, he loves wrestling. He lives and breathes wrestling right now. This is everything to him. And in fact, he's selected, and we are going to North Carolina. We leave tomorrow for him to compete for a national title. So not only is my son successful, but we have a lot of other successful kids on NGM. And what is the next thing for them? That's my question I have. And where are we going to end up? Are we going to go to Stoughton? Are we going to go to Milton? What programs are available here in Monona? And for my son, this is everything for him. And in fact, when we registered for we call it Super 32 in North Carolina, he's the only elementary kid in Wisconsin, and he's right here from Monona. And when I had to register it, it asked, what is your elementary school you go to? I wrote down Winnequa in Monona. So we're going into this national tournament and trying to put ourselves on the map here. So I'm just speaking from that. I think there's a lot we can do with MGM wrestling, not only for my son but other kids as well. So it's a great sport. Teach these kids really great lessons. Not everyone can take first place. That just like a job interview. Not everyone gets the job, but it's how you bounce back. How you come back from these adversities. That's what we're teaching these kids. So it's not only on the mat, but it's off the mat skills. So just wanted to share my personal experience with you and how important this is for us.
Thank you, John.
So thank you.
And John's family brings diversity.
Yes, my
To the program.
my wife is from Indonesia, so we have
She's
an Asian
beautiful.
side. So thank you.
Thank you. It's just the two, right? Oh, third one here. And Carl.
Let's see the whole name. Are they? Yeah.
I don't want to put your last names, that's why.
Oh, okay. As long as it's on there, it's fine.
It's Carl Volk, and I am the Monona Grove McFarland. I'm one of the head coaches of the high school team. Okay, so in fact, we practice right over here, 5 days a week, starting in November. One of the things I want to touch on is why do we need a middle school program? One of the biggest thing is exposure to wrestling. It's very hard for wrestling to get exposure. We're not on Sundays. We're not on Saturdays, right? You don't turn your TV on and see it. Why is that important for the exposure to wrestling? John touched on it a little bit, right? There's a lot of stuff in, not necessarily the news, but we talk about mental health, right? And like John touched on, wrestling teaches you a lot about resiliency, a lot, okay? Whether it's, losing a match, how to respond to it, whether it's, how to take some lumps in practice, or when it comes to physical conditioning, right? How are you going to respond to that? Are you going to quit? Are you going to get back up? What are you going to do, right? So that translates every day in life, right? So that's why I think it's important for us to have a middle school program, because it gives wrestling more exposure for kids of any diversity, of any social economic background, because wrestling is fairly cheap, okay? You need shoes, you can even wrestle in shorts and a t-shirt, and you get out there and you go, right? That's why I think it's important for us. And if anything, if people want to get rid of their kids for a couple hours after school, I would be happy to take them. Because what they'll learn in our wrestling room is very valuable life lessons that they will carry on with them till the rest of their life. It's something that's helped me through 22 years in the military, and I can't thank wrestling enough for it. And the opportunities that we now have for both, boys and girls, that's something I would like to see us, especially at the high school level, grow our women's program. Now we have had Caitlin Gunderson from the McFarland side. She went on to wrestle in college for a women's program. I'm not sure if you guys are following that, but they're popping up all over the place. In fact, the University of Iowa, the powerhouse men's program, now has a women's wrestling program. So at the college level, there are many, many opportunities for women to continue their dream of being a national champ or wrestling in college and stuff like that. So that's just something I want to talk about is what it teaches you about mental toughness, resiliency is huge. And just the exposure, if the opportunities are in middle school, it provides more kids to be exposed to wrestling. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, can I have a motion for the consent agenda?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay. Andrew, are all in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. All right, motion is carried. All right, next, our recognitions.
Okay, first of all, just want to give note to one of the gift donations that you just approved of the consent agenda was from the Better Foundation. We recognized that gift at our last board meeting. And then in addition, we have a second very generous donation to the athletic department of almost $100,000. It came from the Monona Grove Education Foundation on behalf of former Monona Grove basketball coach Frank Ludlovic. In 1955, Lud became the first head basketball coach at the then brand new Monona Grove High School. He remained coach and teacher in the Industrial Arts Department until his retirement in 1978. Coach Ludlovic compiled an enviable win-loss record during his 29 years, was selected as Wisconsin High School Basketball Coaches Association Coach of the Year in 1970, and was inducted into the WBCA Hall of Fame in 1979. We are certainly grateful for Coach Ludlovic's service to Monona Grove and his generosity in giving this donation through his estate. Last week, we celebrated homecoming, and our students and staff showed their school spirit throughout the week, and there was an exciting pep rally, parade, and they finished off the night with a win from the football team against Portage. Monona Grove School District has been named a 2022 Dane County Climate Champion 2 times by the Dane County Office of Energy and Climate Change. The first award is because of our newest school, Granite Ridge, which uses about half the energy of a comparable school. The second was awarded because of the solar panel array at the high school, which is the largest array on any K-12 school in Wisconsin and provides about half of the school's electricity. October is Farm to School Month. This is the very first year that we're working with AmeriCorps and the Farm to School program, and we are excited because every Thursday in October, our school lunch menu features fruits and vegetables from local Wisconsin farms. And second graders at Winnequa School recently had a very special visit from Monona Mayor Mary O'Connor, School Board President Lorraine Gage, Monona School Resource Officer Luke Wunsch, and Monona Park and Rec Director Jake Anderson, and as well as Monona Youth Librarian Tiffany Helgerson. Students learned about their roles in the community, and Lorraine even did a mock voting simulation that the students loved. And there's some videos and photos as well.
There are no correspondence and announcements, administrative reports, business services report, Mark Powell.
Yeah, provided you with a summary memo of our head count, or our third Friday count. The numbers I provided are our head counts, which is the number of students in our seats, and you can compare it to last year. We are down overall 52 students We are up in open enrollment at about 47. And yeah, so you can just see the breakdown there, preschool, 4K, 5K, and grades 1 through 12. The biggest drop, as you'll notice, was in the 4K program. But then we made it up a little bit in other areas. So with the open enrollment increasing, people are coming to our schools. And we only had 3 going out more than last year. So it's a good trend.
Any board questions? All right, thank you, Mark. Next is superintendent report. Dan.
Okay, I don't have anything additional to report this evening.
Okay. All right, moving on to board reports, policy committee, Susan Manning.
Okay, let's see. Fortunately, I put it in here. So the policy committee met on Thursday, October 6th. It would be myself, Elizabeth, and Susan Fox, and Dan as well. We've been looking at 4 policies generally right now. 7440 facility security, 7440.01 video surveillance, electronic monitoring, school safety and threats of violence, basically related to school safety. So when we started kind of discussion about 8420, with reference to that policy and the general subject of school safety, Jim Bludgett, our new safety and security person, introduced himself and discussed his work in accordance with a cooperative contract between Middleton Cross Plains and MG for safety and security. He began working with the district July 1, 2022. He's working with various staff members, including all building principals and building safety teams, to review previous work related to school safety and crisis management and update and coordinate protocols and procedures. And it helped us to kind of get that feel as we were looking at these, just reviewing the policies to see if they needed updating or continuing work. We discussed future review of 8420, the school safety policy to assure alignment of current school safety work and present policy. And so we're going to continue to look at these 4 policies so that we can align the school safety work. We also want to make sure, and Elizabeth was very focused on this and brought this forward in a really helpful way, coordinating the safety work with student services policies and the work that they do. And they're looking at school climate, general SEL recognition and inclusion as a regular evaluation component of the training that's being done on school safety. We're going to continue to look at the SRO related policies, wellness, human growth and development, and staff support for that. And we have a scheduled meeting for November 2nd, 2022. So again, we're still looking at this package, waiting kind of to see what Jim brings forward in terms of his thoughts about what we need to do and whether or not we need more support in policy or the language seems to be adequate to do what he needs to do. And Dan's keeping us in touch with that too. And then we're going to start a whole, guess what, you guys should love this, whole other, 25 policies, 50 policies from the old one. So it's like we don't have enough to do. Now we do the Monona Grove Education Policy.
Go right ahead, Susan.
So it's like I have nothing else to do. The Monona Grove Education Foundation met October 11th at 4 p.m. Dan did a quick update for them, reminding them that the school budget is scheduled for board approval at the end of October, reminding them that the per pupil amount continues to be frozen and that may affect the ability to have a balanced budget. Again, trying to make sure that everybody's aware of what's occurring. In terms of new business, the foundation discussed with Mark Rundle, an MG grad who's been very involved in the school district. His father was football coach back when I was in high school, so that was quite a while ago, and he was here for a really long time. What he's doing is he basically makes donations directly to the school district, and they're having a discussion about using a pass-through through the foundation. And that was actually approved by the committee. There was also a discussion about action to honor Charlie Ping, which many people want to do, and they had a great discussion about that and want to continue discussing that at the November meeting. They want to talk to the family and kind of see what their direction may be. They approved a new firm for their tax forms. They're budgeting their teacher innovation grants, so if teachers are interested in that, they should be talking to the foundation about, because they'll be setting their budget. They renewed their membership in the Cottage Grove Chamber of Commerce, and the golf ball drop was great. So if you missed it, it was really kind of fun. But anyway, and I urge you to come next year because they throw golf balls all over the place out of this huge high thing from the fire engine. They've raised approximately $30,000 to go towards student needs, which is absolutely wonderful. The Weekend Snack Pack Committee report is they're servicing over 130 children right now. So again, these guys are doing really great things. And they tend, right Dan, they tend not to list the list of all the things they've done. They just kind of say, okay, we're going to do that, and they approve it. So it's hard to report out the individual work that they do, but they provide support to students in the schools in terms of clothing and food and backpacks and all kinds of things. And for example, Mark Rundle went out and contributed 200 backpacks because two of his important people here in the district indicated to him they needed that. There were already that resource available from the foundation, but they needed them in this environment at this time. And he just contributed those. So what he wants to do is try and coordinate. This is kind of what they're trying to get people, is to coordinate their donations in a way that it comes directly to you. The donation that just came to the athletic department came through the Education Foundation. So it's a great thing, and I really encourage the teachers to write innovation grants and fun things they'd like to try and get going on. Do you have anything to add about that, either policy or the foundation?
No,
something we missed on? But they're doing great stuff, and they're, thanks to everybody who bought tickets. I didn't win anything. But that's okay. It's a donation. I love it.
They're doing great things, Susan, so thank you. All right, next are possible action items. Date, time, place of annual meeting and budget hearing for 2023.
Yeah, at the annual meeting, the board was authorized to set the date and time of the meeting for next year, and the recommendation is to keep it the schedule we have in the last couple of years, the second Monday, I guess it is, in September. So the proposal is September 11, 2023 at 6 o'clock.
I move that the 2023 annual meeting and budget hearing be held on September 11, 2023 at, it's only going to be this year.
Doesn't matter at this
Mr.
point.
Governor?
Yeah, you need
We do need to name this
include
place.
the location as
Yeah,
well.
location and time.
Yeah, so at location of choice.
I would recommend it. The district office is easier for the folks who are doing the live streaming with their equipment.
All right.
And at 6
2
p.m. correct, also?
So, location, district office.
And at 6 PM? Is that what you
Yeah, at 6 p.m.
Okay.
I gotta say that again.
Sorry.
We got it.
All right, can we get a second?
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All right, all those in favor?
All right.
All right, motion is carried.
Nice job, Mark.
All right, no discussion items, and then future meeting dates are in board docs. So next meeting is Wednesday, October 26th. All right, can I have a motion for adjournment?
I like to make the motion to adjourn.
Favorite thing, Andrew.
Yeah.
Can we get a second?
Oh, second. Yeah, Elizabeth always tries to do that.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion is carried, meeting is adjourned.
All right.
No.
Mark, do I have things to sign? Is that?
That's me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.